What's going on, everybody? Necropage here on the Platinum Standard, and today's video isn't so much about the gameplay, even though it's pretty good. It's more about my thoughts and sharing them with you guys. The gameplay is actually of me and my boy Deadly Virus getting down on some Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. It's actually on the bronze difficulty, which is the lowest difficulty setting, but this is just for me and him to get back into it because we haven't played Mass Effect 3 multiplayer in a long time, so we needed a refresher course, but it's still pretty tough. You'll see I get into some pretty hairy situations here. Even right now, look at me. Dodging grenades, getting hit by them all over the place. But to the topic at hand, and that is DLC and my growing disdain for all things related to DLC. And for those who don't know me, I'm not a big DLC fan in the first place. It doesn't really sit too well with me. As is, most of the time I've spent $60 on a game, and to spend an extra, 5, 10, 15 bucks, whatever, extra for downloadable content for a game just seems kind of redundant to me. I mean, unless I really enjoy the experience. Like, recently, I did go out on a limb and buy the Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC. I have yet to play it, but that was one of my rare moments where I actually binged out and got some DLC for a game. 9 times out of 10 though, no matter what comes out for a game, I don't buy it. It just, whatever it is that's being offered normally isn't worth the money. Normally it's character skins, which I could care less about, or it's of a few minor side missions that really don't affect my overall experience of the campaign or story itself. So I usually try and stay away from DLC. But Monday night I was actually waiting for the midnight release of Injustice: Gods Among Us. And for those who don't know what that is a fighting game with all the DC characters, and it's basically them beating the hell out of each other. So you knew I was in. I'm a big Batman guy, so I was going to buy it for sure. And my brother, he's a big Green Lantern fan, so I'm sure we're going to have some epic duels here in a couple days. But leading up to the midnight launch, NetherRealm Studios, which is the makers of Injustice, and they are also the people who made Mortal Kombat, they were going to have a live stream event leading up to it. And they were going to have celebrity guests. What else? They were going to have the match between Superman and Batman that they were leading up to, because those are the two, fan favorite characters, and they were going to put together a video of them fighting each other. And they also had a special announcement. Well, this live stream never happened because of all the craziness going on the eastern side of the globe. Well, not the globe, but on the East Coast, essentially, with all the bombings and whatnot. And so they postponed it. They still put it up on YouTube, but it was a few days after launch. It was, Wednesday that they did it. And so we never got to see what happened until it was too late. So I get the game, and I gotta go to school the next day. So I'm at school, and I'm watching these YouTube videos from the live stream that never happened. They uploaded it into like 3 different chunks. And the big reveal for that live stream event was to announce a DLC character. Now keep in mind, this live stream was supposed to happen hours before the game launched. So if all things would have gone according to plan, they would have made this special DLC announcement a few hours before we even got the actual game into our hands. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't sit too well with me. I understand the reasons for DLC. I understand its place in the market, and it's a business, and the people who are making these games are going to want to make money. I understand that. However, I don't understand having DLC ready to go even before we get the game in our hands. It doesn't give us any time to actually enjoy what the game itself has to offer. Now, personally, I think Call of Duty does it right. Call of Duty, they release their game, and everybody plays it. They figure out all the perks, all the weapons. They start setting up their classes, and after a couple months, it gets old. I mean, it just happens with Call of Duty. I mean, you can only shoot so many people different ways before you start to look for something interesting or fun to do. Outside of that, start messing around. So what normally what happens is after a couple months, whoever's making it, Activision, Treyarch, they decide to release some DLC for it. Maps, weapons, whatnot. It keeps it fresh, it keeps it going. And to me, that makes sense. It makes perfect sense because, yes, we did spend $60 on your game, but since we're already getting tired of it, a few months in, because we've done that, we've been there, they make it fresh again by giving us some new stuff to do. So that's all fine and cool with me. What I don't understand is waving DLC in front of our face even before we get to see what the actual game has to offer us as an experience. It's hard for me as a gamer not to feel a little slighted when I hear things like that. Regardless of what character got announced, the fact that I know that this character is completed and ready to go and could be used in the game right now makes me feel like this character should have been included in the Gold Master version of the game, which is the original version, the one that just got released. It almost makes me feel like this character was left out intentionally just to be DLC specifically. And where do we draw that line? Where do we draw that line for what is actually gonna be included in the game and what's DLC? I mean, if you're working on DLC at the same time that you're working on what's actually the original game, then that DLC, in a sense, is part of the original game. DLC should come after. I don't care if you start working on it during hand. You shouldn't be finished with making DLC before you even release the game. Just, it doesn't work that way. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Am I too far off the mark here? Or are you just playing a game to see what gets released for it after the fact? Until next time, ladies and gents, I'm Necrophage, and I'm corrupting the world one video at a time.